Welcome. My name is Laura Dubois. I'm the music director here, and I'm just so pleased that you could join us here today for the celebration of life for our beloved Ellen Johnson, family member and friend to so many of us here. It's wonderful to have you here in the sanctuary, and for those of you attending online, we feel your presence, we feel your love, and thank you for joining us. At this point, please double check that your cell phones are on silent, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. You know, when somebody passes away suddenly, without warning, it's so difficult. We didn't get a chance to even say goodbye. So I'm especially thankful that we have this beautiful ceremony today to share some tears and grieve together and start the healing process. Because Ellen was such an amazing person, just always giving of herself and always lifting others up, I'm pretty sure there will be quite a few tears today. But because Ellen was who she was, that joyful spirit with quite a large streak of mischief, I'm pretty sure there will be some laughter in here as well. And I think Ellen would love for us to laugh a little bit today and to remember the lighter side of things. And most of all, just to live in that love that she shared so freely with all of us. So in that spirit, I invite you to join me in a prayer. Sweet Spirit, Creator of all things, Mother, Father, God, we thank you for this opportunity to come together today to share our love and our memories of Ellen. We pray that the hearts and minds of those who are suffering be filled with comfort and peace. We pray especially for you to give strength and courage and comfort to Fred as he begins to walk this path. May we live our lives in that light of love that Ellen shared with us, and may her spirit be with us always. We thank you, God. Amen.
We're going to share a song that we've often done over the years while Ellen was here. It's called Love, Serve, Remember. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come? Join us. To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember, to love. Let's just hold that awareness, hold that feeling, and remembering Ellen, her love and her service. I'm glad you used the word mischief, Laura. Kind of like you see mischief in both those beings up there, don't you? It's just something sneaky going on there. So I just want to thank you all, like Laura did. Thank you all for coming here to celebrate the life, the memory of Ellen Johnson. I know Fred will join me in this, in sharing gratitude for all of you, especially those of you who traveled to be here, and her friends from AA who have come to show your loving support, and just everybody taking time in your busy lives to arrange your schedule so you could be here and now with us today. As a minister here at a spiritual center, I also believe it's possible that Ellen's soul might even be present with us, possibly looking around to see what might be out of order might need a little adjusting. Ellen was so dedicated in her Sunday attendance over the years that the image of her sitting pretty much right about where Fred is, is basically imprinted on my retinas, as so that no matter which way I turn, I swear I can see her in the corner of my eye, right there, sitting tall and straight, a little taller than you, Fred. There, with perfect hair, of course. You know, we call this a celebration of life. And I know the feeling of celebration isn't always the easiest one to have at a time like this. It brings images of loud parties and streamers and balloons and banners, laughing and dancing, a time of uplifting joy. But the source of the word celebrate comes from the Latin for gathering together to honor, to sing one's praises. And I'm sure we can do that today, and perhaps along the way with our praising, our honoring, and remembering, I think we may gradually feel an undercurrent of uplift, kind of like a ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds as we bring Ellen's presence into our heart and mind. So as you know, just a very short time ago, a unique force of nature named Ellen Johnson was roaming this earth, a being of so much depth and so many dimensions, like all of us have, that she can't possibly be contained in words. So what each of us will bring today is kind of like our own version of the Ellen that we knew and experienced. And some of you hopefully will share your version of Ellen today, and I look forward to that. I will share my own, plus adding a few details I got from Fred, her daughter and son-in-law, Leslie and Paul, and our music director here, Laura Dubois, gave me some insights. And I'm sure as we hear these versions, we'll find common threads connecting them all. But there is also a part of Ellen she gave each one of us that will always be ours alone. And to me, this is part of the wonder and the mystery of the soul. Now, Fred was nice enough to spend like 40 minutes filling me in on Ellen's background. And I tend to get so absorbed in listening to the story, I'm not the best at taking notes. So if I get any of this wrong, please shout out and correct me. I heard from Fred how as a young woman, in her teens and later teens and early 20s, she and her first husband traveled around in a school bus making and selling crafts. I think it was toys. Is that right? Toys? Now that sounded suspiciously to me like a hippie lifestyle. And for some reason, a hippie background tends to be very common with the people who attend this particular spiritual center. I'm not sure exactly why that is. With her first husband, Ellen had 2 children, Leslie and Levi. And I'm so happy that Leslie made it here with her husband and their son, Gino. Ellen's industrious nature progressed from selling those toys to having eventually her own hair care business, a business that she ran in various locations in Northern California, which she eventually brought here to Eugene. Along the way, she not only changed a lot of people's hair, she changed husbands, settling on a man named Fred. Now, I got to know Fred at least a little bit starting in 2018. This was completely separate from knowing Ellen here at Unity. I met Fred at a local ping pong club. It's better than meeting him at a bar, isn't it? You know? And I have to tell you, Fred does not hit that ping pong like a gentle, peace-loving hippie. He hits that ball like he means business, okay? So I don't know exactly what Ellen and Fred saw in each other. Perhaps one of the connections was that they both enjoyed dancing, and they both had the focus and determination to take lessons in various kinds of dance. Exactly like my wife wanted me to do, and I never would do that. And they took these lessons until Fred and Ellen were tearing up dance floors wherever they went. I certainly don't know all the challenges that Ellen faced in her dance of life, but I have this picture of this very strong-willed woman with a fierce determination to live her own way and a fierce love and dedication to the people and causes she believed in. As with all dance partners, Fred and Ellen occasionally stepped on each other's toes. Tempers would flare, but they had an agreement to give each other a kiss before calling it a night. Depending on the severity of the disagreement, sometimes it was a good kiss, sometimes it was just a peck, according to Fred here. But even a peck makes a difference. I'm pretty sure that's in the Bible somewhere, if you look that up. And I also sense that along with Ellen's strong points of view, she had a very playful nature. Both her daughter Leslie and son-in-law told me about multiple times Ellen traveled down to California to share Halloween with them and her grandkids, Luke, Adam, and Gino. And apparently, she really liked dressing up by wearing the ears and the nose of a cat. Now, do you remember that, Gino? Is that what he doesn't remember that. So this could be her parents filling my ears with something. But let's just imagine her with wearing the ears and nose of a cat. You promise that's true, right? She says that's true. Now, I would not recommend sharing this information with their beloved dog, Dexter. Okay, Fred? Keep that private. And I don't know exactly what brought Ellen to Unity of the Valley here, but I would guess it has something to do with AA. The Sober Awakenings AA group has met here for many years, 6 days a week, at the ungodly hour of 7 a.m., I might add. But beyond that, Unity is founded on the same essential universal principles as AA, the same principles you can find in most of the great world religions. A quick summary of those principles, not the dogma and all the detailed stories, but just the idea that despite all the flaws and challenges that we humans experience, all the struggle, at the deepest level, we are all connected to the same source, the same divine source. Here at Unity, people call that source by many different names. Laura referred to it as Mother, Father, God. I like to use the word Spirit. And sometimes people just refer to our own higher self. There's something higher and greater within each of us that our hearts and minds are reaching towards. The 12 steps of AA reflect a common human experience, I believe. And that's how so often we reach a low point in life where we realize we need to make a change, and so far all our struggles to make that change haven't worked. And so somehow we have to let go of the old ways of doing and being and essentially turn our lives over to that higher source, whatever we imagine that source to be. Since Ellen was a dedicated part of AA, I have to assume this reflects something of her life journey. And Ellen was also part of a group of people, of some of my favorite people, who not only attend AA, but then took the further step of attending our Sunday services here. You know, the word attend just really doesn't do justice to her participation. As I said earlier, Ellen was a force of nature. When she started attending here, she looked around and she saw things that needed to be done, and she didn't hold back. She got to work doing them. Does that sound like Ellen? I see a lot of heads going, Ellen she wasn't much for following the usual sign-up sheets for volunteers. When she set her eye on a need, it was just hard for her to ignore it. That included me and my hair. Back in the 1980s, when I attended the University of Oregon, I found I could save money by cutting my own hair. It wasn't a professional job, but it was good enough for me, and it has been for all these years, but not for Ellen. I could tell my poor haircutting technique drove her crazy. She would see me from all these different angles that I don't see myself, and she's like, there's a problem. There's a problem. If I have one regret about Ellen and myself, it's that I never surrendered to a higher power when it came to my hair. I didn't surrender to Ellen. In fact, Ellen did so much setting up on Sunday mornings, she got close to stepping on a few toes around here. By arriving earlier than any volunteer, it was only natural to take over some of their duties. Is this familiar to anybody? Now, when it came to deciding who was going to talk to Ellen Johnson about her doing too much on Sunday mornings, I had a simple response: not me. But our administrator, Gina back there, being a brave woman instead of a cowardly man, she sat down and went over a few things with Ellen. And here's a little bit of the written report I got. Ellen explained that she normally comes in around 8 a.m. and unlocks the front door, lights the candle on the altar, puts the water out for everyone, makes the coffee and tea, puts the handout in their spots, etc. I, the administrator, explained to her that she is co-mixing the duties of our kitchen angels and ushers and some of the opener duties. I let her know that I don't mind if she continues to do those jobs as long as she has clear permission or instructions from those other ministries to do it, unquote. Well, anyway, they eventually worked it out, meaning Ellen pretty much kept doing exactly what she had been doing. I really think Unity was a place where Ellen not only studied the idea of her higher self, she joyfully put it into practice. According to our music director, Laura, Ellen was always doing nice things for her, leaving little stickers on the piano that said things like, "You're doing great." One time, Ellen gave Laura a book called You Are Love. Laura describes Ellen as wanting to help every single Sunday. She would be there and set up everything tidy and perfect, always sit through rehearsals, being encouraging and enthusiastic. She was, in Laura's words, one of the most wonderful persons she ever met. Yes, she was strongly opinionated. You just had to add that, didn't you? But really positive. Her life was dedicated to service. Whatever she did with great dedication and love, and she tried to make people smile and feel joy. Thank you for sharing your honesty, Laura. Recently, I looked back at a video on our Facebook page of a Sunday morning where the three of us, me, Laura, and Paul Biondi, were performing a song I wrote called Holy Season. I was at the piano, Laura at the synthesizer, Paul playing the saxophone, and we're just playing our hearts out. But the audience, with their backs to the camera, are sitting stone still. No one is moving to the music. No one except one person. One person swaying with great feeling, letting the music pour through her mind and body. And that one person was the one who always sat right there, shining all her love and light the best she knew how. I think that's how I'm going to always remember Ellen, swaying and moving to the music of life. Yeah, like Ellen, I believe we are all on a wondrous journey of inner awakening, of inner evolution. You might say we're all riding the school bus of life, crafting our own toys, our own little hopes and dreams along the way. And after some painful trial and error, we hopefully find a partner we can dance with, one who can forgive us our missteps, one who can love us despite our most annoying habits, and at least give us a little peck of a kiss before going to bed, at least. And if we keep listening close enough to that inner message in our hearts, we discover our love is not limited to one person, to one family. It can embrace the world. And so we begin to share our unique gifts and abilities in loving service to the world, like Ellen. And if we keep following that light, we start to realize that light is the higher self in us all. And this divine light explains why our hearts expand at the sight of a sunrise, why we can love our pets like they were our children, because that one light of spirit is shining in all things. If we haven't discovered that light in some way, leaving this world is often very scary and a great challenge. We're afraid to let go of the only light and security we know. When I heard that Ellen was in this world one moment and gone the next, it struck me she must have been ready to take that leap into the light without even warming up. After all, here at Unity, we had seen her shining as brightly as she could for many years. For many of us on Sunday, Ellen was the wind beneath our wings. Perhaps at the soul level, Ellen saw it was time to ride that wind to a higher level in her journey. And Ellen being Ellen, she didn't wait. She didn't hold back. She just charged right ahead. And so, Ellen, we thank you for the gifts and the love you shared, and for the effort and dedication you put into growing, into being the best you could be. We love you. We bless you. And we send you on your way with grateful hearts. And so it is. Amen.
We needed Ellen to remind us to light the candle. This is for you, Ellen.
Yeah, we haven't quite filled in all the roles. You know, she was like 12 people rolled into one. So how do you replace that?
Hello, I'm John Garrett and was asked to say a few words about Ellen. I wish I would have read John's notes ahead of time because there's going to be some repetition there, but regardless. Let's see. 77. Oh, wait, that's the wrong side of the paper here. Let's see. I've known Ellen for more than 10 years, and I had the privilege of knowing her in 3 different roles. I knew her from Unity. She did my hair cutting for over 10 years. Many people wondered how I could stay so stylish, as you know, and she was, we were in a sober group together. I had checked with Fred, but evidently people know that she was in AA. And she celebrated 25 years of sobriety this year. She was a helper. She started an outdoor recovery meeting during COVID when people couldn't meet inside. Laura, at one point, needed a tambourine player one Sunday, and Ellen was quick to volunteer and up on stage, dancing around playing the tambourine. She did an enthusiastic job. She was very energetic. As John said, I can still remember her moving to the music whenever we were standing up and there was something sort of with energy being played. She became the opener for the church on Sunday mornings, and she would have been opener for every meeting of the recovery group if people would have let her. Ellen was a saint. Oh, wait, no, not a saint. She was one of us. What do they say? Human beings. As I mentioned, Ellen enjoyed being of service. If she was opening at the church or meeting, she would show up way before anyone else. She told me she liked setting things up and being able to sit in silence. And somebody at the meeting this morning talked about coming in early and how peaceful it was to have everything set up and the lights off and Ellen sitting there. What a spirit that provided. But she was also very particular about arrangements. Chairs were always in perfect alignment, as were coffee cups. Don't turn those handles. Don't move those chairs. She would occasionally get into arguments over what her appropriate role was. She wanted to open every day, and other people felt sometimes she was taking over some of their duties without asking them. When I would get my hair cut, I would go to Fred and Ellen's home. The barber chair was set up, and Dexter, their dog, would bark to greet me and then grab a stuffed animal and carry it over to me, and we would play tug of war till I went over to the seat with Dexter growling the whole way until I gave up. Fred was often not there. He was working or playing ping pong. I can't imagine why he wouldn't want to sit and watch people's hair get cut. Anyway, they had a couple of cats as well. I'm a cat person. One liked to sleep on top of the cat tree they had and would only notice me when I went over and petted it. Ellen talked about her trips back down to visit friends and family in California. She and I solved a lot of the world's problems while I sat in that chair. Seriously, we were able to talk about things that irritated us or mattered to us, and most often were able to get the other person to laugh at how seriously we were taking pretty trivial stuff. I have a friend who got a haircut from Ellen the day before she died. I was also hoping to get a haircut that week. After her death, I didn't get a haircut for like 4 or 5 weeks, just, because she was the one that cut my hair. Sigh. Her sudden death is a reminder of how quickly things can change, and a reminder to do things when we think of them rather than putting them off for the future, especially when we're thinking of reaching out to a friend or a loved one. I miss Ellen's energy. I look at the spot where she sat at Unity services and still half expect her to be there and to turn around and wave at me. Bless you, Ellen. Bless you, Fred. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bob Shapiro, and the first thing Ellen would have said, seeing me with some notes on sticky paper that stick together and I can't find the right page, she would have said, "Why do you want to put it on sticky paper? Why couldn't you have just done it on a regular piece of paper?" And that being said, I'm an AA member, and my home group, when COVID began, kind of folded its tent and went online with Zoom or whatever. And I don't do that stuff. I'm a contrarian, which is why Ellen and I made fast friends pretty quickly. And so I tried to find another alternative and noticed that there was an outdoor meeting at a little place called Friendly Park. And being a person who liked to arrive early at things, I found my way there, and I walked down towards the trees, and there's this woman sitting there on a lawn chair, and I'm carrying my lawn chair, and so I'm thinking, okay. So I put my lawn chair there and sat down next to her, and we didn't talk a lot. We just hi. And then when some other people would arrive, she was the person who started the meeting, and there'd be 5 or 6 of us. And so I'd see her every couple of days, little or no interaction, but always sitting next to each other. And when the weather changed, Ellen suggested quietly, with few words, some other location to myself and some others. And so we kind of reported it to Ellen. Ellen was our person where if you weren't going to show up at a meeting, it would be wise to give her a telephone call in advance. Otherwise, you'd get some reaction when you finally showed up. So somewhere we followed her to a Friends Church, where the AA meeting was and still is held. And again, I'm early, and I walk into the lobby and look down the room. There's one person sitting there, and I made my way down, and it was Ellen. Now, I never knew she had been there hours before doing service work, and what I just heard, all the activities that she participated in, and then somewhere along the way, Ellen mentioned, there's a place I go to that you might like. It's got a lot of feeling of the AA meetings, and it was here, Unity of the Valley. And so I came over early one Sunday, walked in over there, looked down, and in the 3rd row on the aisle was the back of a head that I recognized, which was Ellen. And so I sat down next to her. We barely said anything. The relationship was that of seatmate. And it was a bunch of years, actually. I mean, the beginning of COVID, and then so I continued to quietly sit next to her, and so this continued about every Sunday. Little talk. We'd listen to the wonderful music team rehearsal. That was a thing that I know both of us enjoyed. The diversity of the music and the wonderful people. And I think we visually all got to know each other, the folks in the music team and Ellen and I mean, the eye contact was there. And one day I walked in and I arrived over there and Ellen wasn't there. And I said to someone, "Have you seen Ellen?" And the person told me, and that chair remained empty for a while. Some folks put flowers on it on Sunday, and little by little, not that we forgot Ellen, but that we cared about her, and the beat goes on, and I'll miss her. Thank you.
Hi, this is Emma, and I never knew, but now I think I found out, but that I got connection with her for many years. I myself had a brother who a year ago transitioned himself, and he would go to AA meetings too, which I'm sure he would have. He probably knew her too. Anyway, so then I realized, oh, maybe that's why we had to connect with each other. And she was always there, a good spirit, and she always brought her little teddy bear named Benji that she always liked, and we always give hugs to her with it, and she was always a really good spirit, and she was danced, and she loved the community just like everybody else, and kept on going, and we are gonna miss her dearly. Miss you.
Good afternoon or morning. I'm not really good at speeches, but here it goes. All right. Sweet Tooth and Safan. And Benji, their friend is at home. All right. I know I've got to know Helen pretty well through the years. Actually, I got to know her more in the last 7 years, but I know even prior to that, I seen her whenever I started coming to visit Unity here with my roommate Emma. I used to attend a different church, but I belong here, so I'm glad I started being with Unity. In those 7 years, I've been a volunteer with the SMART program, which also I noticed Helen was a volunteer there too. I was there for more than 10 years, but only 7 years since I known Helen through SMART. But I moved to Eugene, just a block away from Helen. That's how I got to meet her in Smart. And for those who don't know what that program is, it's a program where people like Helen, me, and others would want to share the joys of reading books and helping second graders, first graders, and kindergartens how to read and have them read to us, and for them to continue reading through the years. I also would go on walks in the neighborhood, and I always would bump into Helen and little Dexter. And I always would have to sit and stand there and talk with her. And then also we would do quick chats, and her and Dexter would be off, and I would go on my walk, continue. And I used to take language classes, sign language classes. I wish I was not really keeping up on it like I should. But Helen said that she should take classes sometime. It would help her and her partner out a lot. But I don't know if they ever got going. I gave her the information, so I don't know. But she doesn't really have much of internet or phones. So if I found out anything, like any important things that she needed to know about Smart Program or the services here at Unity, I would help her out, and I would walk to her house since we lived right around the corner from each other. And I would let her know that service got canceled or something's not happening, so she wouldn't drive all the way there and realize, oh, no one here, I didn't know. So kind of help her out. I was really loved. I was thankful to have been able to meet her, and she's always so nice and so helpful. And I'm going to miss her a lot, and I'm sure she'll be very missed with so many folks. And maybe she'll continue helping folks up there, up with the Divine, and everyone around her up there. So we'll miss you, and I'll always look at your chair empty, always thinking of you, and especially when I hold my Sweet Tooth and Savon, I would think of little Benji that I always petted, her little stuffy that she bought. All right, well, hopefully I did good on the speeches. I met really well, so there you go.
You did beautiful.
Thank you.
Cold there in my shadow, to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind. I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did I ever tell you you're my hero? And everything I wished I could be. I could fly higher than an eagle. For you are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Of course, I know. I would be nothing without you. Did I ever tell you you're my hero? And everything I wished I could be. I could fly higher than an eagle. For you are the wind beneath my wings. Did I ever tell you you're my hero? You're everything, everything I've wished I could be. Oh, and I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. Fly, fly, fly away. You let me fly so high. Fly, fly so high against the sky, so high I almost touch the sky. Thank you. Thank you. Thank God for you. The wind beneath my wings.
At this point, we're going to have just a couple of minutes of open sharing, and we have a wireless microphone that we'll be happy to bring to you. If anybody would like to share any little short stories, yes, ma'am. Thank you, John.
Testing. Hi, I'm Sandy. I'm a friend of Ellen's and a proud member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I just want to tell you, Ellen was here in the rooms when I came in, and I met her down right here at the meeting, right down here in Unity. And I just have to say, there were many of you that spoke to Ellen, and I love the fact that you said she was quite the character, because she was. Ellen wrote her own book. She had her own rules. But when it came to Alcoholics Anonymous, there was not a person in this world that had a bigger heart and a more dedication to sobriety than Ellen did. And it came in all ways. She'd help set up the chairs, and she did step on people's toes who thought it was their job. but she was probably one of the most authentic women that I have had the honor to know. And she had a heart of gold. And she had a vulnerability that she didn't often share with people, but we saw it in the rooms, and we saw it how she helped other women. And she was so loved. When she had her accident in the parking lot, we put together a delivery service for her so that meals could be brought to her door whenever she and Fred needed it. And it was such a tribute of love for this woman that has shared so much of her heart and so much of her sobriety with so many people. And I just want to thank you, Ellen, and thank you for this beautiful service that was Ellen. It was Ellen, and thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Hello, everybody. My name's Tom P. I'm also a member of AA and for like over 3 decades. And I was the setup person over on West 18th at the Friends Church for before the pandemic and after the pandemic until I gave it up to Perry here. But Ellen was, I keep hearing the word dependable. And I would get to it was a noon meeting, I'd get there at 11 o'clock. Or a little before, she'd be sitting there waiting for me to open up the door, you know. Sometimes, you know, she'd get out and she'd stand there and wait for me, and she was always there. I mean, for 4 years since the pandemic and maybe before that, I don't remember. I have CRS, which for some of the guys, that means can't remember. I'm not going to say that in a church, but you know what I mean. I can't remember before the pandemic very much. But she was always there, and I would set up the chairs, and I would set up three of the comfortable chairs on the inside circle, their backs facing the window, and it would be Ellen in the middle and the 2 Bobs on each side of her. It was always that way. And, you know, I couldn't believe it when I came in that day. We had lost, I'm a retired union sheet metal worker. We'd lost Dawn, who was also a retired sheet metal worker, just a while before that, and then we lost Ellen, and it was just, it's hard to take, you know. You get used to seeing people there all the time, and she was always there. I mean, even when she got knocked down in the parking lot, I think she was still coming in and doing the coffee or getting someone to help her, but yeah. And you know, sometimes we talk, sometimes we wouldn't, it just depends on what mood she was in, but what she liked to do was she'd get the coffee going, and then she'd sit down in that chair, and she'd start doing either crosswords or the word puzzles, you know. And if I was on the phone talking too loud, she'd like, you know, go to the back of the church. There's rooms back there where you can do. She didn't like that because, you know, and you know, I'm gonna miss her. I mean, I do miss her. Not gonna, I do, because she was always there. And you know, we lose people because that's part of life. And when you get sober, you just learn to accept that stuff, and you don't go out off the deep end. You just accept it and hope that they're at peace. And I'm hearing that she's done a lot of other things besides that commitment that she had over there. And I think that's really great. It makes sense to me that she was that way in all her commitments. So anyway, I just had to say a few things, because for those 4 years and maybe before the pandemic, I don't remember, she was always there. So thank you for letting me share.
Geneva.
Thank you. Hey, my name's Jarrell, and I've known Ellen for, I'm just going to talk to you. No. I've known Ellen for 9 years, and she's a big part of my recovery. I met her in AA. And I would go into the meetings, and she always, you know, it's already been said. She's already there taking care of everything. And I would sit next to her, and she had these 3 books. And one was called Keep It Simple, one was called Courage to Change, and the other is called The Language of Letting Go. And they're daily readers. And so every day she would read them, and then she would pass them to me in the meeting. And then we would share a moment about them. And just like the books I have now that I brought with me today, which are the same books, my books, not hers, but they have like little funny like cartoons or like a special bookmark or like little notes on the page. And it's like she sort of passed the torch of that and of recovery to me. And so I loved her, and I know she loved me. And I'm so grateful for her. And I love that little like Scorpio glint in her eye, you know, that we're all talking about. And that she could be so loving and still be so human. You know? So may she rest in peace and divine power. Thank you.
Neva. And I know Ellen mostly through Unity of the Valley, but I also have a very dear friend and was also a very good friend of Ellen's, Mariana Damon, who was part of SA, and she is in Portland, and I hope that she's tuning into this, and if she's not, I'm going to call her later and we will watch it together. But I just wanted to tell Ellen that we are both thinking of her, and we're just very proud to, when I used to come in on Sundays, and after Mary Ellen had moved, she had gone to Portland probably 4 years or so ago, and we used to communicate. Ellen and I say, hey, did you talk to Mariana today or this week? And we had a hard time getting hold of her, but both of us made such a point of maintaining a relationship with her. So I just wanted to mention Mariana, and I know that some of you here know her, and she's doing well. And so is Ellen. Bless you, Ellen.
Hi, I'm Gina. I'm the administrator here. And as a lot of you know, in January, we had one heck of an ice storm here. And we ended up not having the service, but Ellen dutifully left a nice voicemail letting me know that she would not be here. I deleted that voicemail and I moved on. And 2 days after her passing, on a completely different extension number, that message came back. And she literally, I know, was here telling me, Gina, I'm not going to be here for Sunday. And she wasn't. So she's still here.
Anyone else would like to share? I think we're going to bring our service to a close. It's been a beautiful experience. Oh, Donna.
Just a real quick thing. I mean, I'm from Unity here, and often come in early because I'm part of the music team. And it didn't matter what was going on. Ellen was always here for every early morning rehearsal. She'd already worked on opening the church and setting everything up. Maybe this has already been said, but she was just an amazing person. She was part of the usher team, right? I don't know. But anyway, she would always bring me water. She would always make sure that I had my water, special water. And you know, she'd come back and she'd do her puzzles. And she was just a wonderful person, very involved in everything that she did, and very important to us. And we'll miss her a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Donna.
Yeah, that's right. It's coming back to me. She would always bring me water, and she wouldn't screw the lid on tight enough, and I would always lift it, and would just pour down me every time. Thank you, Ellen.
So I'm still finding in my purse pockets little things that she gave me, little affirmations, and I have that book, You Are Loved, on my piano. I look at it every single day and think of her with great love. So thank you guys for being here and sharing this time with us. And I want to invite you to a beautiful reception, and thank you to everybody that brought food and refreshments that we'll share afterwards. And we're going to sing, after we have this little closing prayer, we're going to sing the peace song, which if you're new to Unity, we always sing that at the end of the service. But I can think of no better way to end the service than with the Serenity Prayer. And I think most people know it, but if you don't, just follow along. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And please, if you're comfortable, go ahead and rise and we'll sing together. Let there be peace on earth. Thank you.
There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family, all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
We love you, Ellen.